So I attended 2 sound healings myself, one being in Berkeley for 2 hours and another one actually with Jeannie in Montclair. And each time I attended, I thought, wow, it'd be so wonderful to pair restorative poses with these sound healing events. And as all sort of little things that are brought to life, Marianne, you and I would do our walks and talks, and it was really our dream about, oh, hey, maybe we could get these sound healing things going for the community and just get people involved. And so it was really you, Marianne, that brought in our first sound healing artist, which was Ward Spangler, when we did In the Moment. And from there, we just began our recordings. We were live in January. And then Stephanie asked us to come back for these sort of shelter in place times and be a part of the live stream. And it's just been wonderful. So I've been happy to kind of make these dreams come true and continue to collaborate with all of you. In the coming months, we've been asked by the Marsh to feature something every other month. So tonight you see Connecting to Ourselves, and then it'll replay in August. And then in September, we'll bring you another sound healing artist that will replay in November, and then another new sound healing artist in December. So be looking for those the first Tuesdays of each month.
That's great. I know what the lineup is, or part of the lineup, and it's really pretty exciting. So be sure to tune in. So Val, how did you meet all the people on your team?
Well, first of all, thanks to my team. I love being with you guys. Well, Marianne, you're my neighbor, and I live in the house that my parents bought in 1944, and you knew my mom and dad. So gradually, as we walk up and down the street, I've come to know you, and that's been really awesome. And then again, like I said, we just dreamed and brought these sound healings to fruition. And with Jim, I actually do work in the Oakland schools, and I met Jim's wife there, and we did yoga classes, and eventually she invited me to be a teacher for both Jim and his wife once a week. And then I just remembered that he is a videographer, and then got him involved in these sound healing events. And Jeannie, as I mentioned, I went to her sound healing event in Montclair, and then actually met her when we started to record this wonderful Connecting to Ourselves. So again, it's a great team, and I've loved working with each of you.
It's been a lot of fun. And Val, so you've been involved in healing practices for a long time. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, it's really been kind of increasing over the years, and I'm getting ready to provide an hour-and-a-half session for the stroke survivor group in Kaiser, San Francisco next week, as well as in the past with the Alta Bates stroke survivor group and the functional limb support group in San Francisco General. All of my healing practices and the people that I'm with, whether it's Oakland Unified, the schools, or Alta Bates acute rehab, is really about tailoring all of the work to the people that are in front of me. So looking at a body, developing a relationship with the people that I'm teaching, and then offering these modalities or methods or ways that people can begin to find a little balance, some spaciousness, some openness in their lives, a sense of ease. And those are breath awareness, body scans, and you will see in the video tonight some Reiki, where you just place your hand somewhere on your body and you may feel a sense of warmth or coolness. And then very simple movements that really encourage one to articulate the body, and again, just to spend time with ourselves and take a pause.
Oh, that's great. And Jeannie, when did you start your musical career? Or did it start as a musical career? I seem to think you've done a lot of different things in your life.
Well, I think my musical career started when I started playing the violin on the streets in San Francisco when I was 18 or 19. And there was just an evolution. Then I became a mime, and then a music teacher to children, and then I've been playing in a variety of bands. More recently, I'm playing Brazilian music, and then doing these sound journeys. That's been something that that's been powerful. And I actually, a lot of the work I've been doing through my life is healing work. So I started studying barefoot shiatsu when I was 25, which is a long time ago. And and I met a woman that first who led an amazing sound healing voice with the voice. And I started using my voice in my healing work, using my voice to bring sound into people's bodies, directing sound, blowing sound in, and found that it was profound in how it affected release in the body, how it affected expansion of of the person's field. And so as a violinist and Orff music teacher, I was using, strings, and I was using bells and violin, metallophones and xylophones, and somehow, and I'd always been using singing bowls. Like, that's something I started using, singing bowls and chimes, when 35 years ago. So I decided I was going to put these things together, and that was how I started doing sound journeys. And I had a kind of a vision of what I wanted to do and how I wanted to use sound to both break up energy and to bring forward possibilities for the energy field to open up. And so that's sort of the trajectory I've been on.
And didn't you work with a very famous mime early in your life?
Marcel Marceau, yes.
You don't get much more famous than that.
Yeah, that was like a whole career of, but it was this practice of making the invisible visible. And as someone who does energy healing work now and working with a bigger energy field and teaching Qigong, I feel like that early training in making the invisible visible was, this was like the natural evolution of that work. And that was, of course, an amazing teacher to have in that unfolding.
Oh, I can imagine. So when you're doing a sound healing or sound journey, as you call it, how do you approach it? Do you have an idea for the structure of the performance? Do you plan it in advance? Do you improvise? What's your process?
So there's a lot of improvisation, but there is a structure. There's a way that I like to open with sounds that I feel will both draw the person into themselves, but then clear the field, just help sort of shake things up. And then by bringing in other more harmonious sounds, I find there's a way that a congruence can come into the field. So when you're in this sound journey, you may feel like some of the sounds feel jarring or not what you had in mind, and whether you had anything in mind or not. But having sometimes these sounds, first of all, they will pass and something else will come along. And if you can just be present in sounds that are even uncomfortable, sometimes we can find a way into deeper places in ourselves that are perhaps able to release more easily by being shaken up a little bit. So, but there is sort of an evolution from through certain kinds of sounds and into more it's like lower sounds in the beginning, and usually I end with higher sounds and more ethereal sounds. There's definitely a sort of a plan I have in mind, but then I improvise within that.
Great. So Jim, how did you get involved in this?
How
In
did I get
recording the
involved in this?
performances? Yeah.
Well, my friend Valerie called me one day and said, Jim, can you help us out with some things? Now, Valerie knows me from trying to teach me yoga. But as I mentioned, she's, Valerie teaches other teachers how to teach yoga. And she sometimes brings me along as to show how to deal with a problem client. So Valerie knows me well, and I've been very excited about this. This has been a wonderful project with Jeannie Ward, bringing the music in, along with Valerie's restoratives. It's been a wonderful project to work on. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So how has the pandemic affected what each one of you does? Can we start with you, Val?
Well, this is an example tonight, these live streams, how we've been able to change and meet everybody's needs. And again, the Marsh has done a beautiful job. And the fact that we can bring these sound healings to everyone in their own home, I mean, that's very significant in being able to just receive it in your own home. So, I mean, there have been definite changes. My neighbors have started a little neighborhood yoga thing where we all go out on the curb and practice with each other. And I kind of changed that to having yoga on my deck. So now once a week they come to my backyard. But I still am involved, and I love collaborating as we did, Marianne. And I still offer Reiki. You can do it distance. So whenever somebody just feels like they need a little extra boost in balance or opening or clearing or just resting and ease, then I can offer that. So yeah, it's changed, but I'm changing with it, and I'm happy about that.
So Val, if people wanted to get in touch with you about your distance Reiki or any of those things, how would they do that?
Well, the email would be best, and I'm just going to say it out loud here. I know that person in the previous, when we were on before, really searched the internet for my email, so I appreciate that. But it's Valerie, Valerie, the letter K, Yee at gmail.com. So I'd love to hear from anybody in response to tonight's show.
Great. And I would say the same for, I'd say the same for Jeannie and for Jim. We should probably make sure that, somebody at the Marsh just put Valerie's, yeah, that's great. And Jeannie, would you like to give people contact information as well?
Okay, I couldn't unmute myself. So I have a website, JeannieMcKenzie.com, and I can type that in here. And I do Qigong classes, and if you just let me know through my website, I will get in touch with you when I'm teaching classes or when I'm doing the sound healings. I've actually been doing with Ward Spangler. We've been meeting up every weekend for the last, I think it's been 6 weeks now, and we're calling them sound showers in Sibley Park in the parking lot, and people just walk through and listen and travel. So that's something I don't think we would ever have done without COVID. And also, I really appreciated what Valerie said about how you're changing with this experience and putting my work on YouTube, or not YouTube, but on Zoom more. So teaching my Qigong classes on Zoom, and teaching, doing energy healing work over Zoom and FaceTime, and even doing sound healing over Zoom and over the internet. Very interesting, but it's quite effective.
Oh, that's great. And Jim, how have things changed for you?
Oh, this has been a very changing year. It's a year where, I've lost my 2 biggest clients. They just went away. But on the other hand, people have realized that video is very important at this time. And I picked up clients who really want to utilize the power of video in this time where we can't all get together personally. And so it's been a very interesting time, very interesting. Yeah.
And Jim, would you like to have some, get your contact information into the chat window?
People can always reach me on my website, Jim Holton, JimHoltan.com. And yeah, we do, I do a lot of work with photography, video, and, telling your story.
So while I'm talking to you, Jim, what are you doing? What do you do with your time when you're not doing these kinds of productions? What other things are you involved in?
I have a very active life, actually. And actually, I said during this time of lockdown, I've actually been fairly busy, even though I've lost major clients. I do a lot of social media work. I have a client that I do all their social media advertising. Do a lot of websites, a lot of photography for different things, and again, video is becoming more important every day in this time to tell our story when we can't all be in contact with each other. So all those things keep me very busy. Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, are there any special considerations for when you're doing video for something like a sound healing? Are there any special problems that you have to solve with that?
With video, you have to look very carefully at what you want to communicate. Now with the sound healing, what we're doing is melding restorative poses with a wonderful sound, and that are kind of separate but yet come together. And so you have to think about ways to bring those together most effectively. And they naturally come together. So you have to make sure you capture that natural joining of both the music and the movements. Yoga is a very powerful thing. And for me, that's kind of a funny thing to say, because 5 years ago, I wouldn't have said that, but I'm a convert to Valerie. So yeah. And what we want to do with the sound healing event like this, and a sound journey like this, is to meld those two things together, because they say they naturally come together, and there's powers in both things, and when you bring them together, the power is even stronger. Yes,
that's great.
You do it so beautifully, Jim. Thank you.
Oh, I thank you. You're all a pleasure to work with. So
we've had fun. So for Jeannie and Val, are there any things, Jeannie mentioned something about the different kinds of sounds that you might hear, but are there any things that you can suggest for listeners to get the greatest advantage out of the experience this evening?
Close your eyes.
No, don't close your eyes.
Well, watch it once with your eyes closed, and then you can watch it with your eyes.
There you go, Jeannie. I like that one. That one I like. Yes.
I think
experience the sound more deeply when your eyes are closed, though.
Mm. Well, yeah, we're taking away the visual stimulation, and then we're allowing another part of the body to come forward. I think it's important to just check in with oneself, ask yourself, how are you doing at this moment? If you feel very frantic or just the day's been difficult, allow yourself to just let the sounds take you away. They're beautiful sounds. They're very vibrational. The vibrations open spaces within our body. So find a comfortable place in your house where you feel very safe. Enjoy the quiet. Just know that you're giving yourself a gift. This time of pause is really a gift. And I think in these times, it's important. The pauses are as important as the involvement. And so what I see these sound journeys, sound healing, sound baths, sound showers being is really a gift to ourselves to reset and just take some time. And so I hope that everybody does that tonight. There's no right or wrong. You can stand, you can sit, and use it as background music if you like as well.
And how long is it? I've forgotten exactly how long it is that the Marsh keeps these recordings up. It seems to be quite generous.
Yeah, I know one of the questions you asked, Marianne, was kind of how can we bring this into our home? And Jeannie had a good point. You know, you have these videos available to you so that you can listen to them multiple times. Our In the Moment is still up on the Marsh. You can find it, and it is nice to be able to close your eyes. And if you're curious about an instrument that's being played, you can either take a peek or just come back and listen to it again. Learn the restorative poses, and even with music or without, just practice them when you can. So yeah, take advantage of it being available.
Oh, that's great. So is there anything that that I've missed? Is there anything else you want to say before we get started with the actual performance?
I just want to thank everybody that's tagged in right now to be with us, that this is community, and it's wonderful to be together. I think this is our way of coming together, even though it's virtual. So thank you again to the Marsh for hosting us.
Yes, thank you very much to the Marsh. That's great.
Val for bringing us together.
Yeah. Well, without further ado, I guess we will turn this over to the Marsh for connecting to yourself.
Yay.
Enjoy the evening.
Good evening. Welcome to our Sound Journey and Restorative Yoga event. I want to thank Stephanie Weissman, Artistic Director and founder of The Marsh, Brian Williamson and Daniel Bomer for hosting this evening. My name is Valerie Jew. I'm a yoga teacher and Reiki practitioner in the Bay Area. Like you with COVID, I'm at home. But being at home offers me the opportunity to bring this recording to you. And although it is virtual, I feel your energy and I know that you feel mine. Our sound healing artist tonight is Jeannie McKenzie, and I'd like her to introduce herself to you.
Good evening. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I have been working with sound in a healing modality for since I was about 25 years old. So it's been a long time. And taught music to children, and I have been a performing musician, and also I do energy healing work. So I feel that the sound is a form of energy that is healing no matter what your belief system or how you approach life. Sound has the ability to deeply relax us, and I invite you to take advantage of that this evening and go to a place of deep relaxation and restoration and nourishment.
Each Tuesday, every other month, we'll bring these sound healing events to you, our next one being in September. I encourage you to go to the Marsh website, themarsh.org, to their homepage and donate to their tip jar. With your donations, we can continue to bring you these wonderful programs every day of the week. In the next few moments, find a place to be in your home, a comfortable place. You can stand, sit, or lay down, or a combination of all three. Adjust the volume of your device so that you can enjoy the entire hour. I'll show you some restorative poses and ways that you can support your body. You may want to get a few pillows from your home and a few blankets for this evening. Tonight's performance is connecting to ourselves. If you were able to join us last time, you may remember that we named the event Sound Healing. The words used to describe our events are sound bath, sound healing, and for tonight, sound journey. No matter what phrase we use, each one of these evenings provides you time to be by yourself. With a sound bath, I think of an immersion, a cleansing, a letting go. With sound healing, I think of renewal, centering, and balance. With sound journey, I think of drifting, receiving, experiencing. These are simple ways for us to connect to ourselves, to check in with what's happening, how we're feeling, or simply being. Tonight's first pose, I have a bolster, but you may not have one of these, so blankets or pillows are absolutely fine. I'm going to take my legs and put them over the bolster, using the bolster to support the level of my knees. I'm going to lay down. Notice that my heels are in contact with the ground. And as I lay down, just making sure that my head is neutral to my body. So if your chin is tilted up toward the ceiling, use a blanket or a pillow to support your head. And if your chin is toward your chest, you may have too many pillows or too many blankets, taking one out. If it's available to you, close your eyes, taking your hands and placing them over your eyes, and just feeling whether they're warm or cool to the touch. And if your eyes are not closed, a simple gaze toward the ceiling, and maybe your hands can be here on your upper chest. Noticing the sounds that you start to hear, listening, observing, and receiving.
So I want to invite you to take a deep breath, and as you exhale, let your voice just make a relaxed sound. So, a nice sigh, a nice moan or groan. Take another one of those breaths and see if you can just let your voice slide down your spine. And I want to invite you now to just hum, just a little hum. Humming is a simple way to relax the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve, when it's relaxed, benefits the whole immune system, releases stress, and helps to release inflammation. So I invite you to hum now. Use a
Noticing how your body feels. Resting with those vibrations, those hums, those sounds. I'll offer you a body scan, staying right where you are. I'll note different parts of your body, but you don't have to change or fix or alter those parts. Just noticing whether there's a warmth or coolness, whether there's some tension or a sense of openness. Notice the top of your head. Notice your forehead. Bring attention to your eyes and the length of your nose from between your eyes to the tip of your nose. At the end of your nose, note the in-breath and the out-breath, that whisper of air. Feeling the shape of your lips, the line of your jaw, and all the skin around your neck. Bringing attention to the broadness and openness of your shoulders and collarbones. The movement of your lower ribs and belly with your breath, filling on the in-breath and emptying on the out-breath. Notice the weight of your hips, the slight rise of the upper thighs and the bend of the knees. Feeling the thickness of your calves as they rest on the bolster, your pillows, or your blankets. Feeling the heels in contact with the ground, the earth. You can stay here if you like, or come up for our next restorative pose. Bending one knee and placing the sole of your foot on the bolster or pillows or blankets. Bending your other knee. Rolling over onto your right side, using your lower arm as a pillow to your head and resting for just a moment on your side body. Letting the belly be soft, fall forward. Feeling the breath in your back body. Using the strength of your arms, bring yourself up to a seated position, raising your head last, and just for a moment, staying seated with your eyes closed. Hands on your upper thighs or your knees. Again, noting any changes or differences within your mind, your body. Gently beginning to open your eyes. Music or sound healings can offer many benefits for our body. Some to note are reduced stress, decreased anxiety, decreased depression, improved memory, lower blood pressure, reduced pain. Perhaps with tonight's performance, you already sense a slowing of your breath, a clearing of your mind, and your body is more relaxed. For our next restorative, we'll use our bolster again. I'm placing my legs over the bolster. It's supporting my knees. This may be pillows or blankets. I'm going to bring the soles of my feet together, and I'm going to use these blankets to support my knees as they open out to the sides of my bolster. For you, you might need the blankets a little bit higher, but it's about the ease of this diamond shape in our legs. Lowering the back body along the floor. Again, checking the level of my head. And then taking your hands and placing them right on the upper chest, closing your eyes if it's available to you. If not, a simple gaze toward the ceiling or the sky. Noting the warmth or the coolness of your hands. And then placing your hands over your heart. Noticing the weight of your hands. moving your hands to your lower rib cage, upper arms on the floor resting, and then moving your hands to your belly, following the filling of the belly on the inhale and the emptying of your belly on your exhale. Moving your hands to your lower abdomen. During this next segment of music, you can visit any one of those hand positions over your eyes, upper body, heart, lower rib cage, belly, or lower abdomen. Listening, observing, and receiving.
salutations to the sacred sound present in the earth, the heavens, and that which is beyond. May the glorious splendor of the divine sun illuminate and guide our consciousness.
the softness of the sounds, the rhythms, opening spaces within ourselves, releasing tensions, allowing us to connect with ourselves. You can stay where you are or join us in Shavasana, bringing the knees back to center, feeling the soles of my feet on the floor, the ground, the earth, and taking your time to extend one leg and then the other on top of the bolster, giving support to the knees, and then letting the legs drop open. Taking the arms and letting them go diagonal to the body, palms facing the ceiling or the sky. Listening, observing, receiving. Resting here. And if you want, you can stay where you are. If you're ready to come back, bending your knees and placing the soles of your feet on your bolster. Staying here and pausing for just a moment. Rolling over onto your right side, using your lower arm as a pillow to your head. Noticing where your breath is in your body. Taking a longer in-breath and filling the back body. And a lengthened exhale, releasing. Using the strength of your arms to push up to a seated position, raising your head last, and sitting for a moment with your eyes closed. I want to express my thanks to Jeannie McKenzie for providing our music, two people behind the scenes, Jim Holton, our videographer, Marianne Walsh, our event coordinator. This sound journey is our gift to you. We know there's a lot happening in our world. When you can, come back to this quiet place and let your mind, body, and soul rest. Whatever solace you can provide for yourself, others will feel it too. Much like when we place a rock into the water, and from there the concentric circles moving out from the center. Thank you for being with us tonight. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live in ease. Good night.